How's it going, everybody? I am the Texas Man. I hope you guys are all having a fabulous day. Make sure you guys like, subscribe, you guys hit that bell notification button so you guys don't miss out on a single video coming out in the future here on the Texas Man channel. With that, we're going to be talking about Mandalorian, the season 1 finale episode titled Redemption. Oh, yeah. So, just letting you guys know, I am not wearing that helmet for the whole review. Because I'm dealing with a headache, and to be honest with you guys, it is really, really difficult and hard to see out of that helmet. And yeah, now I understand why people cannot aim while wearing those helmets. It's because the glass to see out of it is bad. So we're going to talk about everything positive, negative, and then give you guys my final review score. I am so excited, guys. We have finally come to the epic conclusion of Mandalorian Season 1. And what a ride it has been. Yes, there have been some really bad things, especially Episode 5 was really a filler episode. Wasn't all that interesting. Episode 4 was so-so. But besides that, everything else in The Mandalorian has been fantastic. And I'll be completely honest with you guys. I am super, super excited for Season 2 coming out later in fall of 2020. So, starting off, the plan is finally put in motion to basically escape and get Baby Yoda to his home planet, and that is going to be what happens in Season 2. And this episode is kind of like the building blocks of not only ending Season 1, but getting into the fact that we need to complete this mission to get Baby Yoda to his home planet, to his own species, and save him that way. We end up learning that the Mandalorians ended up helping out a lot in the epic finale of Episode 3, and that because they did so, most of them are either dead or they're in hiding. I love the electro rocky music opening for this episode. The Scout Troopers had some really funny moments. I mean, after they ended up killing Quill in the final episode, the Scout Troopers end up having the ability to capture Baby Yoda, and their dialogue and interaction with each other was also really cool. And this episode also proved that Scout Troopers, even though they're not Stormtroopers, Scout Troopers still have shit for aim. And this episode also proved that everyone really loves Baby Yoda, even the bad guys. IG-11 ends up saving Baby Yoda from the Scout Troopers, and the whole scene was just really kick-ass. So he's breaking bones and breaking necks and just kills both of them with ease. We get to see a lot more Clone Wars action in this episode. We also learn as to how the Mandalorian that we're following in the show ended up surviving the Clone Wars, and as to why he chose to become a Mandalorian himself. We also learn that Moff Gideon, the big bad guy, that's the new Imperial warlord for the show, he is responsible for the Mandalorian's parents' death because he's the one that basically was in charge of the droid army attacking the planet that the Mandalorian that we're following grew up on. And so that was cool. And so there's not so much a personal connection, but it's like a personal type of revenge story, if you will. IG-11 is a nurse droid in this episode, and I thought it was pretty cool. And does some really awesome stuff. I mean, everyone thought in episode 1 that IG-11 doing the whole I will self-destruct now, and he was a joking comedian in episode 1. In episode 8 now, he's so funny, but it's like it's action type of funny, and it was really well executed. IG-11 basically tries to take on this entire battalion of stormtroopers, and he almost succeeds. And then some other things happen, and IG-11 needs backup. And with the aid of the Mandalorian, Cara Dune, the head of the Bounty Hunter Guild, which I still can't remember his name, that whole action scene was just phenomenal. Baby Yoda ends up using the Force and ends up saving everybody from this fire because there's an Imperial flame trooper, and he shows up with a flamethrower and almost incinerates everybody. And Baby Yoda uses the Force to hold back the flames and tosses the flames back at the flame trooper and burns the flame trooper to death, which I thought was just awesome. There's also a big tease of a possible love connection between the Mandalorian and Cara Dune. I know that everyone was like, "Oh, the Mandalorian's gonna fall in love with this farmer on this farm planet," and I'm like, "Yeah, that wasn't gonna happen." But now it's like they're introducing the love connection between Cara Dune and the Mandalorian, and I'm just like, that's more believable. But I'm like, I still don't know how it would happen. What else? We at long last get to see the Mandalorian without his helmet on, and I thought that was really interesting. That like, the whole code is that the Mandalorians are not allowed to remove their helmets, so that no living thing can see the helmet. So IG-11 can do it because he's a droid. That was kind of interesting. The Mandalorian also gets a jetpack finally, and actually does some pretty cool things with it in this episode. And he gets a quote-unquote armor call sign of the Mudhorn that he killed in episode 2. Um, the Mandalorian armor lady, the person that creates all the Mandalorian armor, versing these 6 stormtroopers. It was just a kick-ass scene with her breaking all these stormtrooper helmets. Literally, she was taking her weapon and she was literally smashing the bottom. I'm trying to get the camera. She was smashing the bottom parts of the helmet and whatnot. So like it was literally she was like going for the stormtrooper mouths, and it was really cool. The Mandalorian ends up using his jetpack towards the end of the episode, and he boards the TIE fighter that Moff Gideon is in and blows it up. And of course, everyone thinks that Moff Gideon is dead, and we find out that no, Moff Gideon still survived, and there's a big surprise. And of course, there are spoilers in this, as always, and we find out that Moff Gideon has the black saber from the Clone Wars and Rebels show, and I thought that was a really well done, like cliffhanger type thing. I'm not into big cliffhangers, but I'm excited to see what season 2 is going to do with that. And also, it's going to have to explain, like, how did Moff Gideon get it? Because if you've seen Rebels, you know who had it last. And now that Moff Gideon has it, the person that has it in Rebels died, sadly. For negatives, there are a couple. The recap still exists. I hope they get rid of this in season 2, but the recap still exists. It's still skippable, which is nice. Honestly, I don't understand Moff Gideon so much as a villain. Like, he just comes out of nowhere and is like, I'm the bad guy. I'm an Imperial warlord. And we don't get much of a backstory to him. So I hope in season 2 we get something of a backstory for Moff Gideon. Not that he's just your generic bad guy and he works for the Empire and he has the black saber just because. They need to give some backstory to make him an interesting villain. There's a new R2 unit, and he's basically piloting this lava boat, and the design for the R2 unit was crap. And when you get to the point where you're needing this R2 unit to pilot this boat down this lava river, I was like, this is so much like Percy Jackson in the Olympians. And then towards the end, the IG-11 unit, he basically becomes a suicidal version of a Terminator, and the IG-11 unit gets off the boat that's traversing the lava river, and he gets out of the boat, walks all into the lava, gets all to this part of the river where all these stormtroopers are waiting to ambush everybody, and he self-destructs. And the whole IG-11 unit walking through the Terminator lava was just like, it was like the ending of Terminator 2. I'm just like, this was so not original. I'll be completely honest with you guys, even with those couple negatives, this final episode of The Mandalorian Season 1 was phenomenal. I gotta say, it was the best episode in the entire season, best episode of the show so far. Definitely better than episode 6. Didn't rely on cameos as much. The only like cameo / reference that was really big into like Star Wars lore was an Inferno Squadron reference, which if you've played Star Wars Battlefront 2 2017, you'll know what I'm talking about. this was a phenomenal episode, guys. And honestly, I would recommend watching this whole show. So if you guys haven't had a chance to watch The Mandalorian and you've just been watching my reviews, watch the show, guys. It is definitely worth spending the money for Disney Plus. Yes, I know. If you don't want to support the Disney Empire, I get it. I'm still planning on keeping Disney Plus. I know a lot of people have ended up quitting Disney Plus because now Mandalorian's over with, and I think people are just stupid because there's so much bang for your buck when it comes to Disney Plus. And we're getting Star Wars: The Clone Wars season 7 coming out in just a few weeks, and I think people have forgotten that that's even going to be coming out now that Mandalorian's kind of taken over the reins of Star Wars TV. And I'm like, I hope people wake up and smell the roses. Sorry for the sidetrack, guys. Back to the Mandalorian. So, with that, guys, I had a blast. Redemption, the final episode of season 1 of Mandalorian, was phenomenal. I'm going to give it a 10 out of 10. I really want to give it 11 just so I can compete with what I said about episode 6, but I can't. I will say, even though this is a 10 and so was episode 6 a 10, this is definitely higher on the scale of a 10 for the episode. This was definitely better than episode 6, and I am having a blast rewatching this show with people that don't have Disney Plus. And if you guys don't have Disney Plus, like I said, just do the free trial, watch the whole show, and then cancel it if you guys don't want to support the Disney Empire. Because you can actually try out Disney Plus for, I believe, 30 days for a free trial to see if you like it or not. So if you guys don't want to support Disney Plus and Disney, do the free trial, binge all 8 episodes. It'll only take you about 8 hours. And that's going to do it for me, guys. I hope you guys all enjoyed. I will be doing more Mandalorian episode reviews once season 2 drops in 2020 of this fall. And with that, guys, you guys all have a fabulous day. And I'll see you guys all in the next video. Bye, guys.